Oh, I turned that down. So remember to turn that on. Come on. Let's connect. There we go. All right. I think we're all set up. I think I finally got my rhythm back this morning. Here we go. So we're going to need to get gas. What time is it? It's 20 after 5. 20 after 5. We've got all three deliveries are in the van. So we've just got one big loop this morning. It is 8 degrees outside this morning. We got a few more days of this, all right? Like I said, it's life's obstacle course. Right now we're in that little section with the, we're crawling under the barbed wire right now, you know? The snowstorm was that big wall. We climbed over that. We got over it. We're done with that. And now we're just making it through this week. And next week we'll be back to freezing. We'll be back to freezing. Like, freezing's a good thing, but it is. Now, I do think our forecast does not have any significant snow this weekend. Looks like, I mean, there's a little tiny blip where there's a possibility that it could snow. You know, like 20% or some small percentage, so I'm not too worried about it. What is going on with my... Hang on, I'm having mic issues here. These little magnets are super strong. But I'm just going to hold it here for a minute. Because I got a bunch of cars behind me now. All right, I see you typing stuff on there. Oh, there we go.
Says Mike Mouse issue.
Mouse issue? Wait a minute, what kind of issue? I didn't hear you when you said, what type of issue? I'm having a microphone issue. I'm holding it right now. I'm like holding this little tiny thing sort of in front of me while I drive. It's probably not legal. No, I think you can do that. I think you can hold a microphone while you drive. They probably haven't thought about making a law for or against that yet.
Stickcat.cs2 says your mic looks like mouse.
Oh, it does kind of look... Yeah, you're right. It does kind of look like a mouse, actually. It's so small. I mean, I kind of like the fact that it's really small, but then again... And it's very lightweight. Like, it doesn't feel like you're really holding anything when you've got it in your hands. So... I mean, under normal circumstances, that's good, but when you're trying to put it on, it's weird. You know, because actually, if you have it on your shirt and stuff, you don't even know it's there. And I did see other microphones where, you know, like if it's heavy, it's gonna pull your shirt down. You're gonna kind of look... You're going to look frumpy. You know what I mean? You don't want to look frumpy. I just wanted to use that word, actually. What are you doing? You know, Sawyer, you don't get enough sleep. Right? You're like in John's chat as late as I am sometimes. When do you sleep? I couldn't believe it was like 10 o'clock when I I looked at the clock. I'm like, holy mackerel. I was supposed to be in bed like at least an hour ago. So I think I got enough sleep yesterday though, because I kind of napped in the afternoon. I got a pretty good nap yesterday. I was at the bakery until about 1.
Sticat.cs2 says I get 5 hours of sleep. I'm hyperactive and my GP says it okay.
Yeah, I'm good with about 5 hours. So I guess that's what I ended up getting, because I probably slept for maybe 2 hours in the afternoon. And then 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, I probably ended up with 5 altogether. I just feel like I should do it in one session instead of... I haven't gotten used to the whole napping, sleeping thing. Whoa. Right. Slow down. Slow yourself down here. Okay. The one delivery that I'm making today orders their order goes out in boxes. So the boxes are mindful of that when I make these turns. All right, I'm going to try. You might hear some shuffling. I'm trying to get this. All right, that's not working. And now the people behind me are going to think I'm drunk. I feel like this magnet was stronger. Do magnets lose their weakness? I mean, do they lose their weakness? Do the magnets become weaker over time? Does that happen?
Sticat.cs2 says what are you getting? I'll steer for us.
I'll steer, yeah. I wish. No, I'm trying to put... See, so I have to hold the magnet behind my shirt up around my collar and then stick the mic on it, right? Sounds easy, but it's like a very scary thing to do because you don't want to drop the magnet. I've had bad experiences with that. I want to go back. I think John dropped his mic yesterday, but I didn't see it. I was probably tuned in, but I might have been during my nap. Because I was in his chat all afternoon, but like I drove home from the bakery and then I was hanging out with AJ and I fed AJ and then laid down, fell asleep.
Sticat.cs2 says put the magnet on a hair clip and have it on your head. LOL.
Well, you'd have to have it like hanging over the front of your face though. I don't know, if it was sitting on top of your head, it might not pick up the sound. I tried it on the visor and I just felt like it wasn't picking up my voice the way I thought it should. Because in the van, the visor is probably at least 6, yeah, at least 6 inches further away than it would be in a car. You know what I mean? It's just the way it's made.
Sticat.cs2 says it did sound lower on the visor.
All right, let's try this again. All right, guys. Here we go. All right, it's there now. I don't know if it's exactly where I want it, but that's better than holding it. Can you still hear me? Do I still sound all right? It'll be fine when I'll have to wear like 2 jackets and 5 sweatshirts.
Sticat.cs2 says ya sounds good.
All right, that's good. Thank you. Thank you for the mic check. Mic check. We're in the full line of traffic today. What is it, Thursday? Yeah. It looks like all the people who hadn't previously made it to work are now going in.
Sticat.cs2 says, did you clean up AJ's debris?
No, I did not. I did not. It's still, my yard's big enough. He can walk around out there and still, manage. He's light enough to walk on top of the snow. I am not. So I didn't want to like put my boots on and walk out there because it's probably like 6 inches.
He says OMG. LOL.
Well, it's like this crusty ice is probably like 6 inches above the ground because that's probably how much snow is under there now. Maybe a little less now, but it hasn't melted, so it's probably still about that much snow. So if I just walk out there with shoes on, I'm going to break through the crusty ice and be walking. I'm not walking back in my yard right now. It's off limits. He's starting to slide a little bit. So like it's becoming, at first it was kind of icy, but still had a little bit of traction. And now it's totally slick. It's glazed over. So he doesn't even walk. He walks on it very slowly because he knows he's going to slip. And his thigh muscles are going to get very strong, or whatever the muscles are that you use when you have to like hold your legs together. Oh man, it's 9 degrees. We went up a degree. That's good.
Sticat.cs2 says so funny. Bogey does the same thing.
I couldn't believe how many cats were in that. First, there's that person that has a cat on their profile picture. So I saw that, and then as soon as I mentioned the fact that there were cats in the chat, the person with the caterpillar emblem came up. It's pretty funny. got to get my evening routine straight. I was thinking about it. I read a book a long time ago called Atomic Habits. Did you ever read that book? Atomic Habits. It's a pretty good book. I liked it. I remember that I liked it, but I read it long enough ago that I don't remember a whole lot about it. It's like if you want to build a habit, you know, you want to make, I remember like the philosophy was you need to make it easy. You need to link it up with something. Well, you have to kind of find the thing that you could do. At least this is the way I thought about it. Like if you wanted to go to the gym or work out, you got to think about, just think about the first step you have to take to do it. Like maybe it's just walking into the gym, right? Like going there and walking in. So just think about that part. Just get that habit going. Because once you walk in the gym, it's not likely that you're going to like turn around and walk out. You know what I mean? So get yourself far enough along that you're going to complete whatever it is you wanted to do. But it had a few really good ideas like that. I got to read that book again. Or listen to it again. I say read, but I really don't read anymore. I just listen to Audible. I do think, though, that reading, I think it sinks into your brain a little bit more than Audible. I don't think there's anything wrong with Audible. Because at least you get the information. But I just kind of feel like there's something better about reading. Absorbing the information through your eyes instead of your ears. There's probably something to that. Are we going to make this? Are we going to make it? It's green. It is a long green light, but I bet you we're going to see yellow. Maybe. No. Maybe. No. Ooh. Pure green. That's a very long light. Whoa, got a lot of rattling in the back. So what time is it? It's 5:40, and we got some pretty decent traffic out here. See, people are coming alive again. I was on my way up to the bakery. I was on a road where I guess somebody had plowed out, must have done it yesterday, last night or something. They plowed out their driveway, and there was a huge, in the lane of traffic, there was like a 3-foot high, I don't know how, almost as wide as the lane, plowed out snow, ice. It's crazy. I mean, if you hit it, I guess you might be able to drive through it, but it would do damage to your car if you hit it. So we're at that phase now where like people realize it's not going to melt. So the people that hadn't shoveled yet are now. They've finally done that now. But if you waited this long, It's going to be a nightmare because it's going to be super, super thick, heavy. Sometimes you see those cars that get plowed in. And at this point, if you didn't dig yourself out of one of those plowed in situations, you're going to have a very, very tough workout to get your car out. 6 miles, 6 minutes. That's what we want to see. You know what I was thinking about doing? There's a fairly decent length of the subway line that is above ground. Like the Baltimore subway, you're gonna see the
.cs2 says Atomic Habits might be a good read. I'll listen to it. I just finished Who Moved My Cheese.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. I read that once. I don't feel like I remember enough about it. I mean, I read books and I enjoy that, and I remember them for a while, but like after a while, I'm like, I have a tough time remembering all the good stuff you get out of a book. You got to reread books sometimes.
Cat.cs2 says yes, same law.
I think people with really, really good memories, that's a good skill.
Cat.cs2 says, what about the subway now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we're about to pass it on the left side of the highway because it rides down the median in between on this highway. It goes down this building that you see on the left-hand side. That is the subway station. And I used to get on the subway there every day. And that subway goes down all the way down to Baltimore. But a good portion of it is above ground. Like this whole section here is above ground. Probably a third of it, maybe a third of it is above ground. And then it goes, once it gets into the city, it goes underground. But I was thinking I should get on that and I don't know if you can do that. I think you could I could probably live stream. People on the subway can be weird about that, though. I had a guy yell at me one time because he thought I took his picture. Actually, I did take his picture. But he was kind of a crazy person. That's a funny story. So I got on the subway one time, and there was a guy that used to... He looked pretty normal, but like he would start talking about really crazy stuff sometimes. And I mean, like really weird, scary stuff. Like I remember one time he went on and on about how if you're gonna stab somebody, you don't want to just stick the knife. This is really he's like saying this out loud, and we're all sitting on the train like looking at each other like, where's he going with this? You know what I mean? These were the experiences you could have on the train. And this didn't happen obviously every day, but so he's telling us that if you stab somebody, and he's just talking out loud, nobody's really looking at him, like nobody's actually engaged in this conversation. He's just talking out loud, and he says if you stab somebody, you need to like stick the knife in, but then you got to like move it around so that you do the maximum damage. And I'm like, I mean, just imagine that you're on a train, you're sitting there with a bunch of people, and this guy's talking like this. It was very bizarre. So, but he would do that, and then his conversation all of a sudden would turn into like he talked about some show that he used to watch when he was a kid.
PS2 says what the hee.
So, here's what happened. So one day I get on the train, and I'm sitting there, and it was very early. I've always worked pretty early, but so it wasn't a lot of packed train or anything. So I'm sitting on the train, and he's standing, or was he sitting? No, he was sitting next to the door, but I could see him from my seat. So I think I was texting with my brother or something, and I was going to send a picture. I was going to send a text saying, oh, there's this guy on the train and he's really kind of crazy and blah, blah, blah. And I was going to send a picture, right? So I hold the phone up. I'm trying to be all kind of like, nonchalant about it. So I hold the phone up and I'm going to like snap a quick picture. Oops, you know what? We need to be over because this lane disappears. Hold on. Or at least it did for the last couple days. Maybe they fixed it. Hang on. Right down here, the snow came out into the lane. They sort of fixed it. That was like completely over this lane. Anyway, so I'm sitting on the train and I hold the phone up and I'm trying to look like I'm just sending a text or something, but I hit the button to take a picture and I had the flash on. Oh my God, he freaked out. He's like, so he starts yelling that it's against the law to take a picture. He's going to blah, blah, blah. He's going to call the police. He's going to have me arrested. I mean, he started going off on me and he got up from his seat and he started walking up and down the train. And of course, I'm over there, like I'm like deleting the picture and stuff like so. And then I'm looking around and people are like looking at me like, what did you do, you dumb idiot? I was like, it wasn't one of my better moments. But he didn't do anything. He sat back down. But he didn't forget it though. Because I remember once, I'd see him periodically on the train, not a lot.
CS2 says Craig.
Yes. It was not good. So
CS2 says OMG.
I know, it was crazy. It was crazy. I saw it one time. So I'd see him on the train every now and then, and obviously after that I avoided him as much as possible, and I never made eye contact with him. But one time I was down in Baltimore, with my lunch break, and I go out and I usually would walk around the Inner Harbor. This was before when they actually had stores and stuff that worked there. And it was a nice walk. So I would go out every day and do that. So one day I'm walking and I hear this guy he screams something. I don't remember exactly what he said to me, but he screams something and I look over and it's him and he's screaming at me. He like remembered me. And it's something about picture. He did mention something about a picture. I don't remember all the things that he said because all I could do at that moment was try to pretend like I didn't see him. I tell you, I get myself in trouble sometimes. Yeah, that's a big, you definitely want to check. I had a few pretty interesting experiences on the train. Kept getting back on it though. I did finally buy mace. I think it was mace. I don't think I did pepper spray. I think I did mace. It was like a little tiny black canister, like the size of a really big chapstick. Like, I mean, that's probably not a good thing to compare it to. Now, you know, you could put it in your pocket. Carried that. That was after some guy threatened to kill me. Not kill me. He was gonna beat the hell out of me or use some other creative words. But yeah, for no reason at all. I was just standing at the subway reading. I was reading a book actually. The guy came up next to me and started telling me he was gonna kick my ass. Over and over again, he kept telling me this. And I tried to pretend like he wasn't there, and he kept saying, I know you're pretending like I'm not here, but I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. It's very disturbing. I'm very proud of how I got out of that one. After I finish, I'll finish that story when I get this delivery done at Lenny's. It's like a cliffhanger.
Stacat.cs2 says, I'm sorry for laughing.
No, it is funny in hindsight. At the time, that one was kind of, well, they were all kind of weird at the time because you don't know. You never know. You know, you never know. People, I am fascinated by what makes people do what they do. All right, back to Lenny's. I still like the idea that maybe that Prius isn't gone and it's just under that pile of snow. I think that's a possibility.
Kim C says, good morning. The roads look like they have been cleared well. Any new potholes?
There probably are some new potholes out there. I haven't seen them yet, but this is definitely the weather that would create that condition. All right, let's go. I'm feeling like anybody.
At Kim C.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, he's coming to the door already. Good morning. How are you? Thank you. Oh. Is that for me? No, check out. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. This guy always pulls the rack out for me. One time I came in and he had the rack sitting somewhere else, so we got two of them, right? So I took the other one, thinking he was using this. He's like, I'll pull that rack out for you. I was like, oh, okay. Didn't have my name on it. All right, there's that. Our sidewalks here are still a little snow covered. Waiting for that thing to roll away. Now, they don't usually get a lot of donuts, but I never understand why they get like, I think today they got 3. Like 3? They're not a big donut. They're more Danish. Roll this in. You know, I know this sounds ridiculous, but you do kind of get used to this temperature. It doesn't feel so awful. Good old Lenny. Boom.
Two says you're very cool, Mookie MC.
Oh. All right, here we go. That is a big pile of snow, isn't it?
Buggle says what is going on right now?
What's going on right now? We just finished the delivery to Lenny's. And we need to go to Gourmet Girls.
At Mookie C says it's strange. Sometimes 32 degrees feels colder to me than 19 degrees.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's the moisture in the air, maybe. Maybe that probably has something to do with it. Here we go. We're riding by the gym. Say I'm kind of impressed. Like the number of cars here is pretty good still. Class must have just let out. I don't know what they do in there. It's not like weights. It's not like a typical gym. It's kind of like rubber bands and stuff. Rubber band, man. Yeah, get that. Now, I haven't been down here since the snow, so I don't know what these roads are going to be like. But I think they've finally cleared them up. mean, that lane, the right-hand lane isn't quite to the curb in some places, but at least
Team
it's
C
wide
says,
enough.
what's the temp outside for you now? And do you have to keep the inside of the van a certain temperature for the food?
The temperature outside right now is 10 degrees. So we've gone up a couple degrees. Whoa, we're doing it. We're doing it. And the temperature inside the van depends on what I have. The only products, I call them
Google
products.
says at UPC, I think sometimes when there is snow, it makes it feel colder. Craig,
True.
what part of the country are you from?
I am in Maryland, northwest of Baltimore in Maryland. But the temperature in the van, it needs to be cool. It doesn't have to be, it's, like refrigerated or anything. Thank goodness. But it should be cool because a couple of the products, like we have what we call rainbow cakes, which are like these cakes that are stacked in little different colors, obviously the rainbow. And they have some ingredients in them, and then eclairs. And so some of them need to be kept cool, refrigerated, or at least in a cool spot. So they can make the trip in a cool van, but you don't want it, like in the summertime, you can't let it get too hot, because then chocolate and stuff like that starts to get a little melted. So actually the summer is the more difficult. You got to make sure that the van gets cooled up, or cooled down, not cooled up, cooled down before you start loading up some of the stuff. And then when I take, if I take the eclairs and stuff like that into these restaurants, some of them, like in this place, they have whoa, look at that wall of snow.
Google says I'm from Indiana. And the roads, with how all of that snow is off to the snow, looks like it looks here right now.
Yeah. What is this guy doing? There's some guy following me. There we go. Yeah, they've got a lot of snow piled up here too. Well, what are your temperatures in Indiana? Are you still freezing? See, that's our trouble. Is this came down over the weekend, and it's not gonna get any better for days. There's room there for them to get by. All right, let me check this door. I think it's probably locked, but you never know. Right back. Yeah, it's locked. All right, let's call. I gotta call them. Girls, come here, come here. There they are. All right, the audio is going to drop when I make this call.
Google says I was trying to say off to the side. My phone says the actual temp is 0, wind chill at least -10.
Ooh, 0. 0's not good. 0's not good. I like when people in like Europe or Canada say it's it's 0, and it sounds really dramatic, but for them 0 is really 32. You gotta watch out for that. Hang on a second. All right, I might lose the audio for a second while I call here. Hold on. All right, she's unlocked the door. Where are my eclairs? 6. I think it's this one. I think it's this one. I put the refrigerated stuff. I think you lose the audio when I go into the freezer. Something about it being in a giant metal box. It's pretty bad when you go in the refrigerator to warm up. All right, what we got here? How you doing? Oh, last group. They get a lot of cookies. This place gets a lot of cookies. door. Okay. 2 down, 1 to go. I do have to get gas today, though. Temperature is not going to be 2 weeks. Really, Mookie? I think we're going to be at freezing. We're not really getting above it, but I think we start to go at least hitting the freezing point next week, like the 2nd or 3rd. But we don't get the snow. I think some snow is coming down south of here, but we're not going to get the snow, which is a good thing. No, I know. Oh, actually, you know what? These roads ought to be interesting. These are some back roads.
Team C says when you make a delivery to the same place, do you need to pick up anything like used trays or racks?
I
Or
do.
is everything in boxes?
That's a very good question. That delivery is always boxes. So the place I just delivered to, I think I had like 8 boxes of stuff. But the other deliveries are on trays. And so, yes, when I make the delivery, you're right. I pick up the trays from the previous day, or, you know, sometimes more or less, depending on how much they've sold. But yeah, so we're all constantly rotating the trays. It's pretty amazing how I got to figure out a way to film some of the stuff that goes on in the bakery, because people, you just wouldn't believe it. It is it's a small neighborhood bakery in Hampstead, Maryland. So it's not like, it's a pretty big, decent sized town, but it's not like, city or anything. And they pump out so much. It's crazy. That's brutal. I can't imagine. Sometimes I feel like I should just stop and pick people up on the street if it's 0 degrees out. Or 10. It's 10. Have you ever seen that YouTube video clip? I think it's come up in my suggested videos a couple of times, where it's like there's
Team
this.
C says you seem surprised that I asked a good question. Lol, I am on better behavior here than with John.
No. Oh, look, people are walking in the middle of the street. What a dumb move. Seriously? I didn't realize I'd have to put my highlights on driving through the city. I mean, no, I'm not surprised. It was just funny because you asked that right. That's the only delivery that I make. Well, no, there's one other place with boxes, but I don't go on a regular basis. But I wouldn't think that a lot of people would think to ask that question. I mean, before I started doing this, I wouldn't have thought of that. It's quite a process. Oh, so I was going to tell you the story about the guy that threatened to beat me up. So, started out, I was standing at the subway. This was at the end of the day. So I was downtown, standing at the subway station, underground, and it was, at this point, I was getting like a 6 o'clock, 6:30 train. Because the area that I was working with at that point dealt with wires, like people that, like if you're wiring money, and at that point 6 o'clock, you had to have everything kind of wrapped up at 6 o'clock. Anyway, so I'm waiting at the subway station. This guy, there were not a whole lot of people there. This was a little bit after the main rush hour, but there were enough people. So I'm standing there and I'm reading a book, and this guy comes up to me, next to me, and he's just sort of standing there a few feet away from me, and he starts mumbling this stuff about beating me up. And at first I was like, all right, it's just one of these people. But he kept going on and on about it. And then he was starting to get a little bit closer to me, but he's like, you're not going to get away from me. He's getting really detailed about this threat. So I never looked at him, but or engaged. Maybe, did I say anything? I don't think I said anything. I didn't say anything to him. And am I supposed to go in there? I think we'll just make our right-hand turn up here. I don't like the way that road looks. Yeah, that wasn't good. So he's threatening me constantly, telling me he's going to beat me up and all this other stuff, and I'm not going to get away from him, and blah blah blah. There's nothing I can do. But he's mumbling all of this, and other people I don't think other people could hear it. I don't think. Anyway, so I'm trying to plan out in my head what I'm going to do, and the train comes, and he comes right up, he's right behind me. And we're all kind of at this point, everybody gets together to get into the train. And the way these subway trains are designed, you have a doorway, you have 2 sets of doors on each car. And they just open up, they open up and then gives everybody time to get in, like any other subway, and then everybody's walking in and walking down the center of the aisle. So that's what I did. So I walk in to the subway car, and I turn to the right, and I start walking down the subway car, and I'm looking for a seat, but I'm thinking I don't want to sit down because he's going to sit next to me, and there were a decent number of people on the train. So. And I'm like, do I sit next to somebody else? But then he's going to stand next to me. I'm like, all these thoughts are going through my head. And I saw my chance. I'm like, what would happen is the subway would, you hear this chime, ding, ding, when the doors were going to close. Oh, this is good. We're getting a little treacherous roads here. But the subway would go ding, ding. So as soon as I heard that ding ding noise, I darted. I'm just going to run out of this subway car last second, and I did. I just made it. As the door was starting to close, I was starting to go through it, and I just made it through. And so then I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh dear God, please don't let the doors open again. Because sometimes they would. If somebody was like, trying to get in or out, the doors would reopen. But they didn't, thank goodness. And yeah, this road isn't like super good, I would say. But I made it out of the train. So now I was standing back in the subway station, and there was nobody there because they'd all just gotten on the train. A couple people got off, but very few, because everybody was going home. So, and he's like on the other side of the door looking out. And I'm like, oh my God. So another train came going the other direction. And I just got on that because I was like, I don't know what to do. So I got on that train and went to the next train station, got off, kind of regrouped myself, and then I did ride the train back home. But I called my brother. I'm like, I remember calling my brother and telling him that, yeah, this guy was threatening me. I was going to ride the train home. But in case he never heard from me, because I was afraid. Like then, when I got back on the train, I didn't know whether this guy would be like waiting in one of the stations, like looking for me, Because you could stand in the train station and watch the cars go by and see if there's somebody in the train. But I kind of sat back in the last row, so you really wouldn't see me unless you were really, really looking. And I was all paranoid when I got off the train at Owings Mills, because that's the last station. Well, that little trip through the neighborhood is a little more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Probably not smart. My experience this morning has made me a little cautious about riding in the right-hand lane along routes like this. Because sometimes people, when they shovel, will push it out into the road.
Something like that can make you think of all of the possibilities and almost make you paranoid.
Oh yeah, it definitely can. And it did. I mean, that was what made me buy mace. But I don't really know what I would do with mace anyway. I mean, yeah, all kinds of, it is funny, like all the thoughts that go through your head at a moment like that. Like, all right, can I take this guy? Oh, and then I went the next day when I was back in the office. I was telling some people about this. And
PC says, what happened this morning?
What happened this morning? With the snow? I was driving on a route, not quite this big, but it was a road that had snow on the sides, like this one does. And someone had apparently just plowed out their driveway, probably overnight, but it created, this pile of snow that was halfway into the lane, and probably was like 3 feet high. I mean, it was a good size pile of snow sitting in the middle of the lane, and it looked like somebody had just put it there, like they just plowed out their driveway or something. But it would have done damage to the vehicle. Anybody that hit it would definitely know it. It wasn't like something you could. And the fact that it's been a couple of days, so everything is pretty frozen. It's not like you're going to fly through it like a pile of snow. But when I went back to work after that subway incident, somebody at work told me that 6 o'clock or 6:30
says, did you have to swerve?
Was when, yeah, I did this morning earlier. That was on my way to the bakery. But they told me that that's the time when the prison that's in Baltimore City is probably like 6 or 7 blocks from that subway station that I'm talking about. And so they told me that that's typically the time frame when they if anybody's going to get out of prison, that's when they let them out. Usually at the end of the day like that. Like, oh, that's good to know. And this guy did tell me that he just that was part of the whole, that reminded me, part of his whole spiel is that he had just gotten out of prison. Now, I didn't put that together with the fact that we were near the prison or that it was, but he did tell me that he just got out of prison. And then somebody told me at work the next day that that's like a time period where you'd be more likely to run into somebody like that. But yeah, so he didn't give a F because he just got out of prison. He didn't give a F. And I was like, oh my God. But you got to experience stuff like that. It's builds character. And I was like in school and stuff, I never really got in a fight. Like when you're in school and you're little and you're like, people are always talking about getting in a fight or getting beat up. There's always some kid that's going to beat up other kids and stuff. But I fortunately never had to really do that. I'm not a fighter.
BBC says when prisoners get released and likely subway station stops. That is the type of information that needs to be in a city's travel guide.
Yeah. You had a picture with somebody, like a commuter. So you got some guy with a shirt and tie on, 2 black eyes, standing at the subway. Well, and I was riding the subway. Another eerie time in the subway was during when things were getting crazy. We had was the whole. I don't know that the chain of events here. Like I don't remember which came first, but we had Freddie Gray, who was the person downtown that got like they were moving him from one. They were either transporting him to the jail or something, and he was supposedly got beat up. I don't think he did, but anyway, that was the story. So that was, I think, Baltimore had Freddie Gray. When what was that other guy's name? The one that was the big one. The guy kneeled on his neck. What was his name? Anyway, it was all around the same kind of time. So there was a period in Baltimore where there were a lot of, I mean, I wouldn't say it was actually rioting, but there was a lot of people in the streets and all that kind of stuff, throwing rocks at the police and all that. I don't remember what year that was, but I was riding the subway through all that stuff, and there was a period where they wouldn't even stop the train at certain subway stops because they were afraid of who would be getting, they had those subway stations closed. So that was pretty weird. We were like riding through, we'd be on the train and then...
He says simmering unrest.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Simmering unrest. It was like that simmer where like you're still turning it down a little bit because it's bubbling a little more than you want. That's where we were. We were at the simmer with a medium bubble. But that, to be fair, I mean, those are only a handful of incidents that happened over a course of, I think it was, I don't know how many exactly, but at least 15 years of riding the subway. So overall, it was a wonderful experience. All right, maybe not wonderful, but, good. Saved me a lot of miles on my car. A lot of money on parking. A lot of headache, traffic. Although I don't really get a headache in traffic. I don't mind traffic. It doesn't bother me.
C says, when is the last time you rode the subway?
Ooh. Let's see. I moved my job moved from Baltimore to Towson, which is in the suburbs and no longer on the subway. When did I do that? 2017. Yeah, I haven't ridden this. I mean, I might have somewhere in there ridden it once to go downtown for some reason, but I don't remember doing it since then. Like that was the last time I commuted to the city. It was 2017. Any
6448 says, good morning, everyone.
good morning. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. Throwback
Team C
Thursday.
says hello, at Hollis 6448.
Hello. Throwback Thursday. I want to start finding some film I took in the past. Bring it back to life. Thought about that. I started doing that with my brothers. I was finding pictures, like old pictures.
Hollis 6448 says hello at Team C.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Team C says you hit the green lights better than John.
I that thought was just going through my mind. I did just hit a lot of green lights. I don't think it wasn't quite 37, but that was a pretty good run through Eldersburg. I don't think Maryland has their lights set up that way. I know they did in Ocean City, Maryland. I worked down there for two summers, and they did have their lights set up that way. So if you started in Ocean City, you can go from the inlet all the way up to Delaware. And that whole stretch is maybe, I forget exactly, but maybe 10 miles, 10 or 12 miles, something like that. But if you started, you could, you hit the lights right, but you had to go the speed limit. If you went too fast, you'd start hitting red lights, or if you went too slow. But if you were going the speed limit, and you got in their cycle, you'd be able to do it on all. So I am familiar with that idea, and it does work. It worked great for him. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. And then it's kind of funny how it kind of like builds up the excitement. By the time when you get toward the end of it, you're like, oh.
6448 says nice. Nothing but green to Delaware.
Yeah, you can get all the way out of the state. Look, we just got another one. We're having a green light day. Our gas prices are going down. Last night, John was talking. All right, so highs is 289. They're usually a little bit higher. Guess all the employees are showing up today because the owner's not here. So that's a good sign. Let's see if they come and get me.
Team C says, does the place you deliver for have any type of signature product they are known for?
What did they? This place is they do a little bit of everything. Like they have a lot of their breakfast foods are particularly good, and their lunch. I have not eaten here myself, but I hear really good things. I don't know of a signature thing here though. No, and nothing that There's probably something that they sell the most of, but I don't know. Let me give them.
Plus 6448 says 2.55 by me.
Oh, here we go. She opened the door. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. Take the trees out with me. Noisy rack. Noisy rack. One of these days when it's not so cold, I'll bring the I want to bring the camera out here so you can see. It can be part of the delivery. You know what I mean? I mean, I know that brick wall is one of the most exciting things you've ever seen. Drop the mic off here for 1 second here. Be right back, guys. Stay right there.
Team C says all in all, it's just another brick in the wall. Plus 6448 says it's the snow on top of the garbage can that captivates me. 6448 says, hey teacher, leave them kids alone.
What are we talking about? Who's the teacher? I took the mic off. I went in there. So I had to make a quick stop, if you know what I'm saying. I didn't want to leave. Didn't want to leave the mic on. That would be weird. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I think that was loud. Check here. So, we've got the deliveries are done. I'm going to stop and get gas on our way back. We'll see what the price is. I'm going to guess 265. 265. Because if it's 289 here, where I get gas, it's usually at least 15 cents less than that. And then I get a discount on top of that, so I don't know. Right turn on red. I remember when they started right turn on red. Like I think when I was little, that wasn't a thing. But I remember when it started, and there was like a TV campaign, and it had like a tune. It was something like, I'm gonna try and sing the tune, all right? So it was something like, right turn on red, stop, turn, turn, there is a reason. I think that's what the song sounded like. I think I need to Google that and see if I'm making that up or if it was really a thing. That could have just been something that my brother and I made up when we were little. But I feel like it was a TV thing.
6448 says, is this the bakery's van or your personal?
Bakery. It's the bakery's van. Yeah, I should. I have walked around it with the camera a couple times, but on one.
PC says you have a good singing voice. Call 6448.
No.
I'm not going to comment on Craig's.
Now the van, though, it has pictures of Jennifer and Bob, not like they're like cartoonish type pictures, but it's got Jennifer and Bob, who are the owners, and then some of the family members that have worked there or worked with them over the years. I'll take the camera out at some point and show you when it's a little warmer out. But that's on one side. I think both sides of the van had little caricatures like that on it. But I think it was maybe it was before I started. So it's probably 6 months ago or 9 months ago. I think Bob was driving and somebody came out of a side road and hit the side of the van on the passenger side. And so it's been repaired, but whatever I don't know how, I think they're like stickers or whatever you call that when you put it on a car. They're not, that side is not decorated. Only the driver's side is decorated. And the back. But and no, my picture is not on the van. I don't think I was there when they initially put all that together, and they haven't updated the right side of the van, the passenger side of the van. So. But it's quite obviously a cheerful little bakery van. I have this great idea. And I'm going to do it. I'm not. It's not like an idea. It's something I'm actually going to do. I just haven't started yet.
6448 says rap.
Rap. Rap like a rap song. It's too early. It's too early for me to rap right now. I can only do pop and country at this time of the morning. But what I'm going to do, I've got a what do you call this? Like a cookie cutter shape design that looks like a van. Jennifer, I had found one online. Jennifer saw the same thing. So Jennifer bought that. She's going to make some cookies for me so that I can take...
PC says, I thought the turn right on red thing started in the 1970s during the oil crisis.
That's probably true.
To stop having cars sit there idling.
That's probably true. I think that is true. So yeah, when I was little, it wasn't a thing. That sounds about right. It was probably around the same time that they came up with the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Like that was the maximum anywhere. It's sort of stuck on a lot of roads. I mean, really, why 55? Why not 60? Like, I think 60 used to be the number in most places, and then you'd have higher than that. But like the
6448 says no. We had enough of you singing. That's what it's called on the side of the van.
We had enough of you singing. This is just me with like a circle and a line through it, no. Maybe that's what they're working on. Maybe they're getting that printed up so that we could put it on the van. But my goal is to not hand out, but I want to like spontaneously give people cookies, like for no reason at all. Like I'm just driving along and maybe I'm at a red light. There's a car next to me. I see some little kid sitting in there. It wouldn't have to be a kid. It could be an adult. Just have a cookie ready. I'm going to get like I don't know whether I'm not going to jump out of the van. I might have to get like a retractable
Plus 6448 says my city doesn't do the right on red unless there is a green arrow.
Really? Wow. So the rule in your city by default is that you cannot turn, if I'm understanding you right. See, that's weird. For us, it's the other way around. For us, you can make a right turn unless there's a sign that says you can't. And there are some places that you can.
C says a guy in a van asking a little kid if they want a cookie could be a dangerous move.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, no. Uh, I mean, that was just, yeah. I realized that could look weird. That's why I wouldn't be getting out of the van. Plus, well, but I am in a van that is obviously a bakery van. It's not like a just a plain white van. And that was part of the reason why I thought I could probably get away with doing it, because I have this bakery look to me. Like, yeah, if I was in a regular van, it wouldn't work. People would be like, I'd be getting arrested on a regular basis if I tried to do that.
Plus 6448 says correct. You wait until it's green no matter which way you going.
Wow. That's interesting. Like, because I could see a lot of people coming from
Plus
states like
6448
us.
says especially if it's a white van.
I know. That's the stereotype, right? And I don't have any windows. Like the back of the van has no windows. So this is really not, it's not a good look unless you have, cute bakery pictures on the side.
Carol-S2C8M says lol.
That was more candy. I mean, usually those people didn't go to the effort of baking cookies. But most people, when you look at people at a red light, an awfully high percentage of them are just kind of sitting there looking at their phone. Gives them a second to look at their phone. That was the really cool thing about riding on the subway every day gave me a lot of time to like read and actually read. Like I didn't do Audible back in those days. Then when I started commuting in the car, that's when I started doing Audible. Yeah, when we do start hitting temperatures that are above, look at this guy walking on. It's dangerous to walk on the side of the road. It's the only place you can walk. Over there. Where's this guy going? Over here.
Team C says riding on the subway gave you a chance to read and to meet recent parolees.
Yeah. I could, I got to chat with my homies.
Paula6448 says yes, I called it forced relaxing. Just be careful of your surroundings.
Yeah, true. Very true. Scary. Like we all saw that girl. I forget where she was, but that wasn't a good situation.
P4. Carlitos says new year. Are you delivering something?
I was, yes. Welcome. I was delivering bakery goods. I always say donuts, but it's more than just donuts. Donuts, Danish cakes, cookies, croissants. So I had 3 stops this morning. We started at 5.
6448 says no is dangerous as walking in the middle of the road.
Yeah, did you see the people who were walking in the middle? I know. All right, now when I get close to this gas station, somewhere in here I start to lose the connection. And when I'm pumping gas, I definitely lose it because I'm underneath the canopy that's over the gas pumps. What is the gas? So the gas is $2.63. How do you like that? I was pretty close. And I think I'm going to get 15 cents off of that, so we're going to be pretty good. But as long as I get in and out of here relatively quickly, the stream will come back. It should. The only time it ever goes away is if I'm in here for a while. So you may have lost me already. I don't know. I might still be hanging on. Who knows? But I will be back. You're going to see a spinning wheel for a while. $2.48.
Says another nice sunrise today. At Hollis6448 says it's 2.5.
Am I coming back? Am I coming back? Let me know if I'm back. Let me know if I'm back. I think I am. Maybe. Stay here and see if I've come back. You guys see me?
Team C says the spinning wheel is Craig's way of trying to hypnotize us.
Are you?
At Hollis6448 says it's working at Mukim C. I am feeling sleepy and craving cookies shaped like a van. At Hollis6448 says you're back.
I'm back.
At
Okay,
Mukim
good.
C says
I'm
I
back.
know a guy. At Hollis6448.
Where's my? So I paid $2.48. It was $2.63 minus 15. Nice. Nice.
Team C says you are live.
I'm alive! Okay, here we go. That's good. That's usually the way it works, but every now and then I think if I'm there for too long, it drops, but I don't know what that time period is. Snow. They've got the snow very neatly. Like they must have taken that plow right up to the curb. You know,
Team C says do you use Upside or another app to save on gas?
No, I don't use it. I don't use an app like that. For a long time, I was using, like, I would just grab the bakery's credit card and go, like, you know, any station. And then I realized BJ's gas was sort of on the way, and it is a lot cheaper. So I started getting it there with the bakery's credit card. But then I realized
6448 says, do you have any idea of the mileage the van gets?
Do I know the mileage? No. I should I should look at that, but no. I don't think it's terribly good. But I don't know that it's too bad either. I mean, if we fill it up, how many miles do I drive? I don't even know how many miles I drive in a day. That would be an interesting question. It's probably one of the... They have a whole menu of things you can look at on the dash. I haven't been through it. Oh, look, I will tell you it's 7 degrees now. Somehow we lost 3 degrees. Yep, 6. It's going down while I talk. The van has 146,000 miles on it. And I think they got it back in I think it's like maybe 5 years. I think they got it about 5 years ago.
C says, did you get the tire pressure sensor system fixed up? At Hollis 6448 says, so they reimburse you for gas now?
Yes. Yeah, I used to use their credit card, but now because I get a bigger discount if I use my credit card, because it's associated with BJ's. So I do get a discount. I mean, they get a bigger discount on the gas, and they just reimburse me. And I probably helps my reward points at BJ's, so I probably get a little bit of benefit from that. But they get a lower price, and I get some kind of benefit. But the tire thing, I don't think they fixed it. I think it just stopped.
Says, good deal. You get the points.
Yeah. It's kind of like I traveled for work for a long time in my previous life, and that was always cool too, because you get the air miles, car rental stuff, getting all those programs. You can get some free stuff, hotels. Kind of like that. But the BJ's, I mean, I'm shocked sometimes at how quickly the rewards add up at BJ's. I don't even spend a lot there anymore. I used to do more of my grocery shopping at BJ's, but I've kind of moved some of that to Walmart, only because Walmart's closer. It's just easier for me to get to Walmart really quick if I want to buy some bulk stuff. But I still go to BJ's, and say not every 2, but maybe once every 3 times I check out at BJ's, you get that thing when you're running your credit card at the end that says, "Hey, you've got X amount of dollars. Would you like to apply that to the charge?" And that happens like every third or fourth time I'm there, and it's usually 15 or $20 or something. I mean, that adds up pretty quick. It's always
+6448 says Costco gives a higher percentage back on gas. I always try to go there for gas.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what BJ's is doing too. Yeah, those places are pretty good. Whatever happened to Sam's Club? Are they still around? We used to have a Sam's Club. I think we had a couple of them nearby, but I don't know whatever happened to them. I think they closed. Wow. A lot of snow out there. I remember years and years ago when my mom started going to BJ's. I was helping her with shopping. It used to drive me crazy because they don't have, they don't have the bags, so you just throw everything in your car. Or they do offer boxes, like when you're walking out of BJ's, they've got all the boxes there. I guess Costco probably does the same thing. But then when you get home, you got to deal with the boxes, Then you got to break down the boxes. So I just throw it in the car.
6448 says that came out wrong. I meant a higher percentage on Costco gas purchases than if you use their card for other things.
Oh, so yeah, I thought that's what you meant. So you meant like the rewards on buying gas is higher than on buying other stuff at the store?
+6448 says yep, Sam's Club is still in NJ.
Oh, it is. Huh. Maybe it's just the local ones here that closed up. I used to run when I worked in an office building downtown in Baltimore once. We had vending machines in the lunch area, and the
6448 says what a beautiful sunrise.
It is nice. It is nice. It's interesting because when there aren't clouds, you just get that bright color. When there are clouds, it can be really cool looking too. But I used to buy the vending machine. The guy that ran the vending machine hiked the prices up one time, ridiculously, doubled them. It was crazy. We came in one day and everything in this vending machine was significantly higher in price. So I decided I was going to do something about it. So I started this thing where I like ran my own little vending machine thing. I didn't buy a vending machine, but I took some cabinets that we had in the office and I turned them into like vending machine stuff. And I had like a little cashier's box on the top so you could buy stuff from me in this vending machine. So I'd go to I was going to BJ's. At that point, I was going to Sam's. I had a membership at both. And I kept this drawer. There was actually 3 drawers in this cabinet. And I kept it all stocked up with, candy, chips, pretzels, all kinds of snacks. I didn't really make money off of it. I tried to sell it close to what I was paying for it. And maybe with a little bit more for gas and just the effort to go and get it and stuff. That was kind of funny. I had a name for it. It was something about employees. I was using the acronym, but it was like employees something for fair prices or something. I'd made up some name for this vending endeavor that I set out on. And the guy that was running the vending machine, he did make a comment to the management that was running, that was responsible for the relationship. He was telling them that he didn't know what was going on, nobody was buying out of the vending machine anymore. That's what happens. It's capitalism.
Alice 6448 says guys used to do that at my job also, but it got out of control. Every shift had at least one person doing it and it's starting cutting into his work time.
Oh yeah. It did take a lot of time. It did. I had to go out and shop over the weekend, keep up with it. Okay, guys, we're back to the bakery. We are back at the bakery. I think I have to work again this morning in there. The guy that usually on Thursdays I'm off, but Bob had to do something today. And I think the guy that comes in usually at 8 is not coming in today, I think. So I might have to be, I think I need to be helping them out. All right, another 6. Fun. And I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, right? Friday at 5. Yeah, tomorrow's 5. Probably 2 of the 3 deliveries tomorrow. We don't go to Gourmet Girls tomorrow, but the other 2 most likely. So, thanks again for riding along. I appreciate it. Hope you all have a great day. And I will talk with you all later. I'll probably see you on John's stream later. Or maybe not. Today he's going to be on and off. Yeah, that'll be weird. You have to go to his real life.
6448 says, okay, have a great day.
Yeah, and
stay safe and warm. At Mukim C says, good ride. Take care, everyone.
All right, you guys too. And if we don't see John, you know, he's got that other channel. You can run over to that his other channel and watch one of his videos. They're pretty good. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.